Good evening and welcome to my end of the week recap video here for Apple and plan ahead for next week, which is earnings week. And I'm excited to see how that does affect price and what we get after that. So on to the plays. Remember Wednesday, I was in and out of these 190 calls here. Obviously, it was a bad decision. Gap down, opening bar engulfed the whole, almost the whole range of the day on Wednesday and ran up. So that would have been a very nice trade, but it is what it is. Anyways, towards the end of the day, today I got into the August 3rd 205 calls here at 33 cents, if you can read that in there. Um, it was just a play off of my 8 EMA, which is one of my favorite spots to go ahead and take a long trade, especially in something that is still trending up. For now, that's really all I'm holding for Apple, other than a couple other accounts have some shares. But for trading purposes, this is my position that I'm looking at for earnings. And onto the trade plan for Monday, depending on how price opens up. If it opens up lower, I will take a position in some 190 calls for just after earnings, probably August 3rd, maybe a little bit further in the future. Just depends on what the price of those call options are. If it starts to sell off, my 205 calls will probably take a beating pretty quickly because they are a little bit ways outside of the money for only being 2 weeks of time on them. If it pulls down to this green line, this 187.5 level, which is that weekly breakout point, I will look for 187.5 calls at that level. Above there, in between all these moving averages, I'm looking at 190 calls, depending on what price action sets up as far as any kind of a pattern, or if I get another one of these big, huge green bars, I will look to buy the low of that bar, maybe a test of this 189, 190-ish area for a continuation higher. You can see my notes here. Inverted head and shoulders pattern has played out. It's very close to hitting the target up here of about 194, which also takes it to a new all-time high. If price action breaks out before earnings, it's probably looking at one of those fake run-ups before earnings and selling the news on earnings. So keep that in mind for my positions going forward. Over here on the right, I have the weekly time frame. Actually, this is the week. Let me go to the monthly time frame here, get all these drawings off the chart. We're still inside of what is that, June. So still just an indication of indecision, battling back and forth. Volume isn't necessarily high just yet for this kind of a play. We still have some time left in the month, and earnings is most likely going to be the catalyst to either push it above 194.20 or down here below this 181. For now, I'm still going to stay bullish. I'll work my way down here to the weekly time frame. We've now put in another evening star, doji cross, indecision candle, whatever you want to look at it as. This is just evidence of a battle going on. Bulls pushed it up, bears pushed it down, closed right where we began. So nothing really to write home about there. It just means it's probably going to chop in between 192.5 and 190. So in between there, just have to be patient until earnings does come up. It might even just trickle back and forth that $2 range until we have earnings as the catalyst. And even closer yet here on the daily time frame, again, just a lot of chop. This candle here from, I believe that was Monday, is typically a reversal, bearish reversal type of candle. Had it closed at lows, a little bit more strength to push it down. A trigger below that would have, or at least should have implied a sell-off was coming into play. Since it didn't sell off, it actually gapped down, reclaimed that level, and pushed up, and has tested highs a couple of times now. Thinking the bears don't really have too much of a chance at the moment. However, again, it's earnings week. A lot of participants that trade Apple are probably just sitting on the sidelines, and it's really just algos pushing price back and forth. So just time to be patient. Hopefully this earnings play does work out. If it does break below these levels in the trend line, which I've actually taken the trend line off of here, but I'll go ahead and throw it back on. If price action does break below and close below this trend line, I will close out those 205 calls and look for a better play in either these 190s or 187.5s for earnings. So right now, that's going to be my trade plan for Apple going forward. If you have any questions or comments, please feel free to leave them down below. Have a good weekend and good luck.